celebrate Pat Nixon's 100th birthday and to open a magnificent new exhibit called People Were Her Project, which is right behind me in our 4,100 square foot exhibit space. This is a joint exhibit, jointly produced by the National Archives, David's group, Paul's group, and the foundation. And it's a collaboration that we have enjoyed and that we're going to continue, where we bring our total resources together as a foundation, private foundation, and the public National Archives to do good things for a presidential library. And this is a great learning lab for people to come get educated about the life and legacy of the 37th president, and in this instance, his lovely wife, First Lady Pat Nixon. So, I'm going to ask a few people to speak, and I'm going to start with Ben Stein. Ben?
Especially Julie, David, Tricia, thank you, and very wonderful people from the archives. Thank you very, very much indeed. And handsome son, Christopher. Mrs. Nixon was a beautiful woman with a beautiful, big, beating heart that she took all around the world to show America's love and concern for people, and she took it all around America to show her love and Mr. Nixon's love and the children's love for America, for all its people of every kind, regardless of sex, age, race, economic condition, health. She was just a big beating heart of love. She was not one of the beautiful people as that would be defined in People magazine, but she was a beautiful person inside and out. She was a person whose love shone through to every person she met, whether it was in Caracas or in Washington, D.C., or in Moscow or Beijing. Her heart of love shone through, and what you're going to see is that loving heart displayed in some wonderful exhibits a few feet behind me. So thank you very much for being here.
Ladies and gentlemen, David Ferriero.
Thanks, Sandy, and thanks all of you for being here. And despite what you said, you can't borrow the Constitution, okay? I'm sorry. We can lend you a facsimile, okay? For almost 20 years, even after she left the White House, Pat Nixon was at the top or on the list of the 10 most admired women in America. And this is a great day for the Nixon Library, for the Nixon Foundation, and a great day for the Nixon family. And a great day for America as we honor the First Lady on her 100th birthday with a celebration of her life and legacy in this wonderful exhibit. After you've had a chance to visit, you will be as excited as I was to discover aspects of her life that you may have forgotten or may have never known. It's impeccably researched and beautifully presented, and I'm very proud of the staff and this collaborative effort between the Foundation and the National Archives. So my kudos to the staff and to the Foundation, especially those folks who are most involved. And they are Olivia Anastasias, Christine Mickey, Yi-Hwan Kim, Eric Christman, Greg Cumming, Pamela Eisenberg, Ryan Pettigrew, Mindy Farmer, and John Fletcher. It takes a lot of people to do a wonderful exhibit. And Bob Ostock from the Nixon Foundation. Did I mention Paul Wormser? No. So this is, as Sandy said, very much a team effort, and I thank you on behalf of the National Archives for turning out today, and look forward to joining you in touring the exhibit. Thanks.
It's my honor to first introduce the eldest daughter, Tricia Nixon Cox. Tricia.
My family and I warmly welcome you on this very special commemoration of the 100th anniversary of my mother's birth. I'd just like to share with you a few thoughts about my dear mother. My mother loved people, and people remember her with affection and love as a gracious, kind, and generous person who was happiest when giving to others. One of my family's fondest memories of the White House is the day Edward and I were married in the Rose Garden. And as the minister concluded the ceremony, he said, "May all that is noble, lovely, and true abide with you forever." Whenever I think of those beautiful words, I think about my mother, because in all seasons throughout her life, she was noble, lovely, and true. She inspired everyone who knew her, especially the love of her life, my father. And together, my parents' achievements made a positive difference in the world. My mother's favorite expression was onward and upward, which to her meant do something good today so that tomorrow will be even better. Onward and upward, onward and upward. Thank you so much.
And from Pennsylvania, Julie Nixon Eisenhower, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. Happy birthday, Pat. My heart is filled with joy to be here today with all of you, family, and thank you, Sandy Quinn and Bob Bostock and the National Archives, the team here in Yorba Linda, for bringing my mother back to life for a new generation. My mother belonged to Tricia and me in only the way that a mother can. It's a very special relationship, but we always understood too that she belonged to the American people because she chose to be a full partner to my dad, whether it was campaigning from the back of a station wagon, making 10 to 12 stops a day. You can see the station wagon in the exhibit. Whether it was being in Beijing or Moscow or South America or Africa, or whether she was just in a crowd of people and everybody crushing to see her and touch her, because as Tricia said so beautifully, she loved people and they wanted to touch her. And my favorite story from those White House days is when the advance team said, "Don't squash the brownies." And he meant the brownies and the Girl Scouts because people wanted to touch Pat Nixon and the press wanted to get the pictures. And that's the kind of environment that she moved in and worked in. So I thank all of you for being here today. I thank our friend Ben Stein. He's one of the best friends that this Nixon legacy has. And again, happy birthday, Pat.
Now we're going to cut the ribbon. This is a symbolic ribbon. This is the Pat Nixon Centennial Rose ribbon carried by these lovely Girl Scouts. Carried by these lovely Girl Scouts from Yorba Linda. And they're led by Christina. Oh, where's Christina? Thank you, Christina, for rounding them up and bringing them. We had 8,500 of these Girl Scouts here on, don't cut it yet. Let me do my thing. We had 8,500 Girl Scouts here on Sunday for a joint celebration of Pat Nixon's birthday and the Girl Scouts' birthday, both of which marked their 100th on this week. So imagine 8,500 of them going through this magnificent exhibit. All right, girls, are you ready for the ribbon cutting? Are you prepared? You know how to do it? Okay, let us cut the ribbon.
From my wild Irish rose. or from the expert?
She wore this when she went to Africa and represented the United States at the inauguration of the new president of Liberia, and she received a great honor from the Liberian people. And I had never seen this picture, but you know, sometimes at Halloween, have you ever seen a Nixon mask?
Yes.
Well, I don't know who that guy is, but there's somebody in a mask there with my mom, and I don't know where they got that, but I like it. I like it. I like that spirit. But this was this is what Artesia used to look like. It's now Cerritos, right? And they had a pepper tree out front. I remember my mother said there was a pepper tree, so that must be a pepper tree. I don't know, where are the curators? They probably are going to correct me.
No, that's a pepper tree.
Yay! Oh, good, okay, because I haven't seen that picture. I've never seen that picture of my mom, but my mother told me they had a pepper tree. And this is her high school yearbook. She was a tomboy, and so people called her Buddy. You know, her name was Thelma, but when her dad died, when she was 18, she decided to call herself Patricia because he was so Irish, and she honored him. So she was always Pat. Bob worked for my dad after the presidency, and he's one of my dear friends, and he's the one who put this all together. And I don't know half the stuff that's in here, so if I get stuck, okay, because he dug up things
Nice to meet you too. What's
that
your
I
name?
don't even know.
Nice to meet you.
Come on, girls. So really her suitcase. And you know what she did on the campaign trips? The press was only allowed to bring one, when she was campaigning, one suitcase. And so she was only allowed to bring one suitcase. So the press said to her one time, Mrs. Nixon, come on, you have been wearing more outfits and you've got your, you know, how do you do it? And she says, well, I put my suits in my husband's suitcase. He only had one extra suit in there and she put all her clothes in there. I thought that was pretty smart.
Wait, what does it say, PA?
72. I guess I'm probably not even supposed to touch it. Sorry, because it's an artifact. But the giant panda. My mother was at a banquet with the leader of China, the premier, Zhou Enlai, and in 1972, everyone smoked. So on the table, there were these round cylinders of cigarettes in front of each person's suit, a place. And so the cylinders were covered in pink paper, because I have one now that my mom gave me. And so there were darling pictures of pandas. So my mother pointed to the cigarettes and she said, oh, I just love them. And Zhou Enlai said, well, I'll give you some. And my mother said, cigarettes? And he said, no, pandas. And so that's a story of how the Chinese people sent the American people 2 giant pandas. So we've always had pandas at our zoos since then. Well, this is very exciting. Yeah. Now this is a chair from the green room of the White House. Come here. This is my mother. You know that there's the red room, the blue room, and the green room in the White House. This is the green room. And my mom acquired for the White House 600 pieces of furnishing, antiques, and paintings. So she did more than any First Lady in history. And there she is, unveiling the newly decorated green room, and that's the chair. Do you see the chair in the picture? This is it. The White House loaned it to us for the exhibit. Can you see the chair there? So that's from the White House.
It looks different because
Do you think so?
there's sequins like on the bottom of the back chair, and there's none on that chair.
They did recover it.
I didn't even notice you have a great eye. Now, Olivia from the archives said that since my mother's day, this would have been unveiled in 71? Yeah, whatever. Of course, you know how long ago that is, 40 years. Whoops, that means I'm touching 40 years. So obviously they had to recover it in the same fabric. And they did a little bit of extra stuff, didn't they? Which looks better, the original or the extra stuff? You like the extra stuff? Okay. Yeah.
Okay, one right here, everyone.
Right there.
1, 2, 3. Hold that. Thank you.
All right, girls.
Sorry.
We'll see you next time, all right?